A potentially big blow-up, a new one, appears to be brewing in Washington. And in the middle of this is Representative Peter King, the Republican chair of the House Homeland Security Committee. And what we're talking about here is this film about the killing of Osama bin Laden, both blessed and aided by the Obama administration, due to be released about a month before the election next year. Congressman King, none too thrilled about any of this. Congressman King, why not? What's the issue?
Well, Brooke, the issue is that ever since May 1st, and by the way, I gave, and I still do, give President Obama tremendous credit for carrying out the operation. This is not a partisan shot at President Obama at all. But for the last 90 days, we have had sensitive information on top of sensitive information being released by this administration. There's so many press reports about CIA operations, the fact there were Navy SEALs involved at all, the fact that there was going to be a CIA operation going back to the compound to examine the helicopter. We see reports in the New Yorker last week giving a minute-by-minute account of what happened regarding Pakistani airspace. I've been contacted by so many people in the intelligence community over the last 90 days, outraged over so much sensitive material, and not just me. Secretary Gates, Admiral Mullen, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Have they
Admiral
called you up
Olson,
personally?
For special operations. No, they have not called me. I'm saying they have made public statements.
I understand.
They've made public statements saying how too much information has come out and it's time to shut up.
Well,
now, to find out on top of that, that the administration is cooperating with Hollywood on a movie after leaking so much sensitive information for the last 90 days, I can only,
Let me get to that, Congressman, because I know, listen, I've read your letter talking about this potential investigation. You cite this particular column in the Times, and the quote is that the movie makers are getting, the movie makers are getting top-level access to the most classified mission in history from an administration that has tried to throw more people in jail for leaking classified information than the Bush administration. Well, so we finally did hear from the White House today. Jay Carney in the briefing just about an hour or so ago, was asked about this top-level access in the briefing. Here was Jay Carney's response.
First of all, the claims are ridiculous. When people, including you in this room, are working on articles, books, documentaries, or movies that involve the president, ask to speak to administration officials, we do our best to accommodate them to make sure the facts are correct. That is hardly a novel approach to the media. We do not discuss classified information. And I would hope that as we face a continued threat from terrorism, the House Committee on Homeland Security would have more important topics to discuss than a movie.
Congressman King, your reaction?
Well, obviously, somebody wrote out a statement for Jay Carney, and he has no idea what he's talking about, because this administration has revealed classified information, sensitive information, step by step for the last 90 days.
Let me just jump in. How do you know that? Can you just share how you know that definitively?
Well, there's no one else it'd be coming from, except the administration. The fact that there was Navy SEALs that were involved, there was SEAL Team 6, that came from the White House. The fact that you can look at press reports of a doctor in Pakistan who was in jail today because somebody in the administration said how we were using him. We talk about, for instance, the article in the New Yorker last week. The fact that the administration actually said that the CIA was going back in to try to retrieve the helicopter that crashed in the compound. They announced that before the operation was carried out. There's been all of this information. Listen, I'm on the Intelligence Committee. 2 days after the operation, we received all of the sensitive information. More than ever, we were told this should not be revealed ever.
Congressman
and within
King,
days, it was coming out step by step.
I did, I picked up the phone. I talked to our folks in the Pentagon, and they said absolutely, Catherine Bigelow has been to the Pentagon since bin Laden was killed. She had been working on this film loosely based on Tora Bora. She's now changed the storyline because of this, death of bin Laden. Now, I know she met with this, they have a movie liaison in the Pentagon. I sort of read some of these scripts. By the way, there's not even a script yet on this movie. And also she met with the Undersecretary of Intelligence, who I am told went, and I'm quoting, out of his way not to reveal any classified information about the raid. So, some people coming forward and saying, with everything else going on in Washington, sir, this potential investigation, isn't it a little silly?
Absolutely. Now, how can you say that? We're talking about revealing classified information that could put American lives at risk. And this, what the administration has done for 90 days. If they hadn't done it up till now, I'd say, okay. But they have such a horrible track record. It's embarrassing what they've done. But more than embarrassing, it's putting lives at risk. And that's why so many people in the intelligence community have been outraged by what they've been doing for the last 90 days. And on top of that, If we can't trust them to keep classified or sensitive information in the last 90 days, how can we trust them when they're dealing with a Hollywood scriptwriter, especially someone who was involved in a previous movie, Ms. Bigelow, where the Defense Department had to break off its contacts with her because she violated her agreement on the Hurt Locker.
When are you officially going to launch the investigation?
I'm not. I've asked the Inspectors General of the CIA and the Inspectors General of the Defense Department to report back on what steps are being taken to ensure that absolutely no sensitive or classified information is given to Hollywood.
This movie, also, when you look at the timing, it comes out October, the month before a massive, massive election in our country. How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, that's almost a secondary issue, except it puts a cloud over the whole project. And I've been told by people in the intelligence community, in the CIA, that when they agreed to cooperate, they were never, ever told that this was going to be 3 weeks before election. And that took them totally by surprise. And some look upon it as a breach of faith.
Well, we're going to follow up on this for sure. Congressman Peter King, we thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
The man.
Osama bin Laden is going Hollywood, specifically the U.S. operation that led to his capture and death. And that's causing quite a stir on the Homeland Security Committee. Mary Murphy explains.
We're going on a mission.
You're looking at a scene from The Hurt Locker, the Oscar-winning film about a U.S. Army bomb squad in Iraq.
It's a moment of a lifetime.
Kathryn Bigelow received the Academy Award for directing the film, and a year later, there's outrage she may be receiving too much information about the most classified military raid in U.S. history, the capture of America's most wanted terrorist, Osama bin Laden, during a May 1st Navy SEAL operation in Pakistan.
What I'm concerned about is secrets coming out, classified information, tactics and strategy being disclosed through a movie, which could be damaging to our troops.
Oh, and by the way, the movie's set for release in October 2012, right before voters decide whether President Obama should get a second term. As a Republican, are you more upset about the fact that they're timing this movie right before the election?
No, I've not made this a partisan issue. I went out of my way the first several days after the raid to say I give President Obama tremendous credit.
Congressman King has fired off a letter to the Department of Defense and Central Intelligence Agency concerned about reports filmmakers were given top-level access to mission details. The White House responded.
We do not discuss classified information. And I would hope that as we face a continued threat from terrorism, the House Committee on Homeland Security would have more important topics to discuss than a movie.
Yet the administration has been criticized for releasing too much info about the raid, including the role of U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6, methods used to evade Pakistani air defenses, and routes taken to bin Laden's compound. Congressman King told us there was another piece of information that came out after the bin Laden raid that proved to be a problem. It concerned a Pakistani doctor who was trying to give flu shots to children living in the bin Laden compound, hoping to prove through DNA that bin Laden was there. That doctor is now in a Pakistani prison.
This is life and death we're talking about.
King is demanding the Pentagon and CIA screen the movie before it gets wide release next year. Whether it will influence the election as the president struggles with a tough economy remains to be seen. I'm Mary Murphy, Pix 11 News.